Good evening and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. It's a Monday huddle and joining me this evening is Big Alan. How are we, mate?
Aye, fantastic. Great weekend, great performance. 3 points, 6-0 win. Happy days. Right, so
Yep.
feeling good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you. Had a nice weekend. It's been a bit of a quick weekend, mate, enough. But my good friend Barry Bannan joining us again, mate. How are we?
Good, mate. Good to be back on again. See your smiling faces after that Champions League game the other night. So looking forward to the night's podcast. A bit happier this time, hopefully.
Yes, as we all are, mate. As we all are. And just as a man says here, Alan, talking about happiness, just as the banner just quietly says there, Celtic hit Dons with 6 of the best. Now, we'll take it in stages here. I think obviously we bounced back to a heavy defeat from our European night on Tuesday last week, and we bounced back and we absolutely mauled Aberdeen. So we basically done to Aberdeen what Atletico Madrid did to us. I think, Alan, first and foremost, before we talk about performance levels, I think it would be nice to highlight what an unbelievable achievement that is, to bounce back from adversity and that sort of, it was a bad night for us in Europe, and to bounce back the way we did yesterday, mate, it not only shows the class of the team, but it also shows you what characters is in the team as well. And I think that's golden as we move forward, mate, and try and keep this momentum going in the league.
Aye, I think we all touched upon it last week after that kind of scary poor result. But I think we all say about how important it would be for kind of Brendan to speak to the players and get the confidence kind of back on track, because that kind of result and performance during the week could have had a big kind of blow to the players' confidence.
Yeah.
So bouncing back in that kind of manner, I would say to yourselves on chat as well, I think even a 1-0 victory at the weekend would have been suffice for myself, because you never know after that kind of result how the team's going to react. Obviously a couple of changes, but they've reacted as well as they possibly could, because a performance and a result like that, it was very, very impressive. So hopefully we can that's what we can do, so move on for that and kick on towards the rest of the season.
But it's just as Alan says here, talking about, you never know what you're going to get coming back from a hefty defeat in European football. Being a captain of the team, mate, yourself, and obviously played at a very high level, would your first protocol have been to the players, let's put that out our head, let's try and is it a mindset shift, Baz, coming off the back of coming from Spain, what's just happened, and then coming back into domestic? Or, I know obviously the way Brendan speaks at Celtic, they train the same way regardless of who they're going to play. They try and approach training sessions. But as a captain, mate, what are you doing? Are you going about the players? Are you trying to see what kind of mood they're in? What do you think Callum McGregor would have done, and how important do you think he played in more or less helping them to show what they showed yesterday?
I think, well, at the minute we had just off the back of a bad result ourselves at the weekend. So we're in all this week, and as captain, you tend to go around and get a feel for it. But in football, you need to move on quickly, because the games come thick and fast. So you do tend to speak to certain people you think we might need it, but in hindsight, you can stew on it for a day or two, but then you need to get out of it, because there's more games to come. Like Celtic had Aberdeen at the weekend at home, and I touched on it after the Champions League game. I wasn't worried about the Aberdeen game, because you can question them in Europe, but in domestic, you can't really question them. I've said that the other night. You can't say for certain that they were going to come back and win, but I wasn't too bothered about the the mentality there, because I've seen it for years now. They're winners, improving winners at that level. So the scoreline surprised me a bit, obviously, with how easy they made it in the end. Because, like you said, it could have been one of the games where you don't score early, fans get on your back, it starts to turn into a bit of a harder game than it should be. I think the early goal, and you just seen the confidence lift for everybody. If there was a lack of confidence there, which I probably doubt, but if there was any there, it went after 2 or 3 minutes when they get the first goal, and you could just see from there on that it was everybody was confident and looking to hammer in goals to get the confidence up after the midweek game. But I'm in a situation like that at the minute where at my club football is not going the way we want it, but our manager's been brilliant with us. We were back in the day, and he just drilled it into us that we'll learn from it. We watch the video, what we could have done better, where we went wrong. But after today, it's out your minds now, and you've got to concentrate. It's harder because you've got international break now, which takes a bit longer for your next game. But we were told today to forget about that now and get a good week of training in ahead of Birmingham's the next game coming up for us. So it's important that you learn from it, but don't let it stew for too long, because it can settle in and stay there for a bit longer than it should. So no, I think McGregor probably would have went when maybe the new boys and says this don't normally happen, blah blah blah. This we need to get back to what we normally do in the league. Don't let that affect your confidence, things like that. Just wee things like that. But I'm sure the boys would have been told by Brendan as well straight after the Madrid game that night that full focus, it's forgot about after that night, and then back to normal the next day. And you could see in the performance that didn't look like a team that was beat 6-0 a few days before.
Just before we move on, you mentioned your own club, Buzz. Listen, mate, at times in football, mate, I think most teams have all faced a period of adversity. The last time you guys done it, mate, you just came back from what I would say is the best comeback in football that I've ever witnessed. Just before you were promoted. So, personally, not just knowing you through this, but I've got every faith after seeing that I know what certain characteristics you have got in that dressing room, mate. And I know between yourself and one or two others inexperienced players, I think you'll have every tool in the box, mate, to get where you need to be, along with the ideas of your new coach. So I do wish you all the very best for the remainder of the season, mate, first and foremost. Before I bring you back in, Alan, I'm going to go to some of the comments, because there'll be people here thinking that we're just ignoring them tonight, and that's not the case. I was just dead excited to get starting talking about yesterday for us. And so we've got first up, and evening guys. Then Francis Lester, he says, hail, hail, boys, 6 of the best was always going to be painful for someone. Just glad we were on the dishing end of it, Francis, when we weren't on the receiving end of it again, mate. Plunge joining us also, he said, evening boys, hail, hail, great performance result. Palmer was brilliant, don't tell Big Alan. And Yang had his best game, -8 outside, it's freezing, yep, get your hoodies on. John Shirley also joining us as well, he says, hi JP and guys, how are we? Hope you're well, John. We've got lots of comments. Even the wee man, the wee dogger. Wee doggers. Football monitoring board's not happy with us. What's going on? He says, evening lads, top performance, but didn't really have to step out of first gear. Showed great character to bounce back. I don't even think he's got out of first gear for last week, by the way. I'm telling you, I don't know if he's doing right enough, but he's certainly not got out of first gear. Somebody's saying he can't see, mate. What's happened to the lightning, JP? Off a dull.
You're all right.
Not too sure, mate.
All right.
Do I look okay, guys? Yeah. Not too sure if you mean by myself or just the fact that I'm normally electrifying, John Boy. And I'm normally full of electricity.
That's too much.
Big man, I know what you look like, big man.
I know, it was just in case he was commenting on mine, but I can turn it up if you want, but I might be blinded by the end of the night, but...
Wee comment for Barry Boy as well. We'll come to this as well. I'm loving it. He said, Boyd's outburst was delicious. I love it too, Barry. Don't you worry about that, mate. We'll be covering that. Alan, I'll just bring you back in. And as Baz says, I think there's an ongoing mindset there, mate, when you do face adversity, especially a championship winning team, you know, a team that's surrounded and synonymous by winning. I think it's just the norm now. We're all probably still that wee bit of us thinking, but it wasn't until Baz just said a moment ago there that the concentration's always there and it's ongoing. You know, you're probably looking at McGregor, maybe James Forrest, senior members of the squad, Joe Hart's probably helping there, going round, like Baz says, touching on the new boys, saying, look, let that out your head now, get back onto it. I think yesterday, mate, he's come under a bit of scrutiny with some of our fans, yourself included, Lewis Palmer, in terms of what he contributes to the team. It was only like, what was it, 5? Hold on, I've lost fingers now. How many weeks ago it was that I told you that he's an absolute belter. But not only him, obviously the boy Yang as well, performing to that level. I think after he gets his goal, which I'm really, really happy for him as well. I think he's seen his level rise as well. So, as Baz says, it was a bit of a surprise, Alan, because they came out, mate, and they had a spring in their step. It was as if they were clear. You know, they knew Aberdeen were going to sit low. They knew it, but it was the speed and the tempo that we played at, and we just never let up. We just kept going, dictated by Callum McGregor. So I think, well, I know most of us were really tough, but a lot of Celtic fans, I think, would have been surprised just at the actual levels we managed to reach yesterday. Because Aberdeen didn't have an answer for us, Alan.
Aye. No, just to clarify, I didn't say that Palmer was bad.
I know you didn't.
I says,
I just like Paul.
I says there was a long way to go before we measure him against Jota. I thought there was a couple. I think Ryan says it as well. Right? There's a few months before we see the consistency levels, but the early signs are promising, and obviously more so promising after that performance at the weekend, which was superb. There was a few of them that played really well. But just to mention as well, you did say that Kwon was going to be an absolute player as well. He's probably, I don't know,
I didn't, Ryan did.
He's worked in Subway somewhere, and I don't know where he is. He's somewhere. But it was very impressive at the weekend. Obviously, there's a couple of the players that come in and were saying that they had to kind of grasp this opportunity, especially here about the Maida injury. And there was a couple of players that's come in, and especially Palma and Yang, and I thought they were exceptional, to be fair. But it was I was a bit underwhelmed. Aye. I was a bit underwhelmed with Aberdeen. I expected more from them. I know we played exceptionally well, which probably put them in that position. But they didn't really seem to offer much. They were quite happy just to kind of sit in and let us have the ball kind of 90% of the time. But we can only play against what's put in front of us. And again, I thought the performance and the result was absolutely incredible. It was kind of top notch. So I'm really happy with that. And onwards and upwards, as we say.
Yeah, definitely. I think the most important thing, Alan, is we kept that momentum. You know, we kept going. And obviously, just talking about excitement a moment ago, obviously we're not the only ones getting a wee bit excited. I think Anne James thinking that the game was on Saturday. Today's Monday, the game was yesterday, so that would make Sunday, Anne James. So I do apologise if I've corrected you there. But yeah, as I said, we're all excited for one reason or another, I suppose.
See the first couple of minutes of the game when Kyogo missed and then O'Reilly right after that, I'm sitting going, it's going to be one of these days, isn't it? But obviously we corrected that within a few minutes after that. But it was 6-0 going on probably 10, I think. It was that impressive. But you can't not be kind of delighted to what we viewed yesterday or Saturday.
And Anne, just to let you know, that's why I'm the gaffer, pal. That's why I'm here. I'm here to correct and make sure everything goes smoothly. And that's why Ryan's gets days off now because I'm here. Not I'm saying, boys. It's one of the things, mate. It's some people just can't be trusted, mate, and other people just need to be watched closely. So. But as I think Alan's spot on, mate. I think some of that performance yesterday was a surprise to an extent, I would say. But I'm with you, mate. I kind of see it as, how can we be surprised? We were at home first and foremost, and normally when we play at home against like the rest of the teams in the league, we seem to drag them all over the place the way we play. So I was quite shocked. I think I was more shocked by in terms of Aberdeen's level of performance. You know, Barry Robson's got him playing. He had them playing some nice football, and they're quite a robust and strong team. Players like Miovski and the big boy Povlara and some right big physical boys. Obviously, we'll touch on the big defender in a few moments. But they've got big lads in the team. Even the lad Jensen knows how to make a challenge and put yourself about. They've got Connor Barron. I know he didn't play yesterday. They decided to go with the boy Clarkson instead. But, they've got some really good players in their team. But I did say, I was kidding my mate on, and I said, you're always doomed, I think, when Johnny Hayes starts a game at Celtic Park, and then he goes through on goal and nearly hit my motor with his shot. But I don't know if you'll know the answer to this, Baz, but I asked the guy beside me, why is it when Johnny Hayes plays football, he looks like he's been stung with 400 mosquitoes? His face is bright red, man. And it's coming into the winter, and his face is bright red. But all in all, mate, as I said, partially surprised at some of our performance levels, but very surprised at Aberdeen's performance level.
I think it was Celtic, obviously, criticising midweek, came out all guns blazing, and I think one of the biggest things about that you could probably take for it as well is Aberdeen are on that European Cup run at the minute as well. They've probably got a lot of players in that changing room, like we said, with us in the Champions League being very, very same. So they probably, first these games took a lot out of them. We had an extra day or two on them to recover, 2 days. So that looked as if it played a part because they looked flat, really. From what I've seen, they didn't look as if they were, like you said, their energetic selves. They never really lay a glove in Celtic. I know second half that soon changed, but I think first half they never really put a tackle in or anything. It was Celtic at the freedom of the pitch, really. So I think they were tired for Thursday night, but that's if you want to play in Europe and be a top team, you need to do that, obviously. So it's no excuse, but I think that's kind of taking a wee bit away for Celtic as well, because I think the mindset of Celtic was spot on. The mentality and the mindset getting into that game was brilliant. You could obviously lay down and sulk and be tired for the game in midweek or there with 10 men. I know he made a few changes, Brendan, but still the majority of the ones that played in Madrid. So, but I'm with you, JP. I think they recently I thought they've been very flat, Celtic, and I think the other day against Aberdeen, yesterday, I think they were they looked as if they were energetic. They were at it right for the off. It looked as if it was a new lease of life.
Yeah.
Obviously, the goal get early doors helps you because it settles the nerves and brings them out, but it never really brings them out because they kind of stuck to the same game plan. But I just think the biggest surprise for me is Celtic have played in spells this season of games. But I think Sunday was, well, it ended up being 100 odd minutes, and I think they were a threat for the full 100 minutes. I think previous games I've seen Celtic, they've been good for 30, 40 minutes here and there, killed games and then took the foot off the gas. But I think yesterday they went for the throat, and they were brilliant, especially after the disappointment in midweek. I thought the way they answered back was brilliant. Some of the play that for the goals and stuff, as we'll touch on later on, was unbelievable football. We touched on it with people coming in and taking their chances. Big O's came in, got 2 goals, be brilliant for his confidence. The boy Yang, he came in, was brilliant, so he probably nails that place for the next few weeks. Maeda being out injured, so I was glad for him as well. And I think I'm a big fan of Daisen Maeda, but I think on Sunday there was a lot more chances created because when we got into the dangerous areas, there was a bit more technical ability at the end of it, whereas Maeda's normally on the end of a lot of the things and crosses out of play or misses his mark. I think with Yang and Palmer, there was an end product on Sunday more so than when Maeda was there. And I'm a big fan of Daisen Maeda, but I just think with them two playing and playing really well, there was maybe a threat when we get into these promising positions and maybe an end product with a chance or a goal rather than getting into good positions and flashing it across the face of the goal or kicking it out for a throw in. I think there was maybe an end product, and that's how you've seen so many goals, because I thought they two were the best players in the park.
Baz, do you think the two of them bring a certain a different type of game? You know, we spoke on the chat, as like myself, Alan, and Ryan, and you know, that was us yesterday without Hatate, Abada, and Maeda. Now they're three, I would say, massive threats and big weapons for Celtic in an attacking sense. Now, in terms of Palmer, and Palmer for me is he's a man a level of his own. Like he's already now shown he can. For me, Palmer he's replaced Jota, but all he needs to do now is just sustain that level of performance. And if he continues to do that, I've estimated and I've already said to people that I think he's going to be better than Jota. It might be a big shout, but I think he's going to have bigger moments in him than Jota was able to give us. Although Jota wasn't with us a long time, he was only here for the 2 year, one in loan, a year permanently. But with Palmer originally being our player and we spent a few quid on him, I just think there's more to this lad. Now, he doesn't have blistering pace, but he doesn't need to have blistering pace because what he offers the team and what he can do. But in terms of both wingers, Baz, do you think they offer more in terms of a more physical presence than what Abada and Maeda would give you?
I think my only concern with Palmer is I think the blistering pace that he lacks maybe make him a wee bit predictable against top defenders, whereas Jota could run in behind. I've not seen Palmer do that as of yet. We're running after the ball. But what I will say is Palmer looks after the ball very, very well. But I think if you're Champions League and coming up against tough fullbacks, I think you maybe have to throw in the odd run in behind, because I think Greg Taylor helps him a lot as well, because he's energy can run the outside and take men away, kind of helps Palmer come inside and get 1v1s, and I think he's very good at that. I just think my only concern about him overtaking Jota is Jota was good at running off the ball as well and getting in behind defences. He mixed his game up very, very well. I think he had more components to his game than Palmer's got. But the last few weeks I've been impressed with Palmer, I must say. I think he's been brilliant. I think he's got 5 goals, 5 assists now in 12 games. I think Jota got 12 goals was his probably highest return.
Yeah.
So I think Palmer's maybe a goal threat, shoots a lot more than Jota as well. But I think it'll be hard for him to take her there. But a few weeks ago I'd have said no chance, but recently I think you've got a good point. I think it's a fair point. I think if he keeps going the way he's going, then he could replace him. On the other side with Yang, I think he gives you what Palmer's no got with pace and running in behind and his directness. So he's quite similar to Maeda, but a lot better technically. So it's a perfect balance, I think, rather than having Maeda on that side who you don't know what you're going to get in the final third for him. He could put one in the top corner, he could put it into for a throw in. So I think with these two, they're more technically blessed, but I think Yang's got that pace as well, and
Yeah.
it's hard because they can kind of do both. Like Palmer will run at you, but he will give and go, and he will cut inside and play a killer pass. Yang looks to give and go. He'll run at you. He's direct. He'll run in behind you. So it's a nightmare because even though I'm saying Palmer won't run in behind, he'll give and go, and if you stand off him, he'll pick a pass. Other side, you've got everything. He's young. He'll run at you. He just wants to constantly keep running at you. He wants to give and go. He's got a brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're more a threat than when we've got Dice and Maeda in the team for goals for Celtic. What Dice and Maeda gives you after the ball will never be matched by any of them. But I think in games like playing at Parkhead against teams that you should be beating, they're your best two wingers to go for. I think it's different Champions League nights, or if you go to Ibrox, then probably Maeda has to come into the team. But I just think for end product, because it's the first game Maeda's probably missed, and I think it's the highest amount of goals we've scored this season. But we have been getting into them positions every game, but it's been the last final ball that I think that's probably let us down. Whereas the other day I thought the final ball was a lot better. And I love Dice Maeda. He's one of my favourite players this year, but I just think with these two at the minute, the end product's brilliant, but not to get carried away as well, because it's one game. It needs to happen continuous now for a good couple of months before they cement their place.
The reason I laughed there is I could just picture Brendan saying, the last time you played with me, man, we get gubbed 6-0. More now here and sit with me. You're not playing now because we won 6-0. But no, Baz, I think that's quite interesting in what you said there. Obviously, Alan, what Baz was saying there in terms of what, they're different. And I think I spoke to you on the phone, big man, about I think we'll hit a purple patch. And I think you'll start to see where some of these guys that we were calling, projects or whatever, they were getting labelled at the start of the year. And I says, we're going to hit a patch in the season, whether it be suspensions, injuries, something's going to happen. And, we're going to see an injection of some of these guys. And then we're going to be like, right, okay, right, I see what he can. I can see where he's going to fit in. I can see what he's going to bring. I think that's the beauty of it, Alan. I think, just as Baz says there, mate, I think they all bring something different. But he mentions about Yang there in terms of pace, and he's more technically gifted than Maeda. Another thing as well, lads, I don't know if he's picked up on this, but see, any time he tries to take a man on and he doesn't manage to do it, have you seen his reaction speed to pounds to the ball? If the ball's maybe bouncing that way or behind, he's like a cheetah bouncing through the jungle. And that's why he draws in a lot of fouls. That's probably why you've seen the boy getting sent off against when we played at Ross County. It's his sheer reaction when he thinks he's losing the ball. He's got that extra touch to bend his way around the player and get his cell out of that, that position. So, Alan, I think it's unbelievable, and I'm really excited, mate, because of the different options that we've got now. I think Ryan had said yesterday in the chat, the bench looked, well, on paper, the bench probably looked as weak as it's probably been for quite a while. But the substitutions that were made yesterday certainly didn't say that when they came on and megally contributed to the outcome of the game. So, overall, mate, I'm really, really excited to see what's going to, continue to happen.
No, as I say, it was an impressive performance, but it's one performance just now. I'm trying to stay a wee bit more level-headed with regards to Yang. I think we spoke about before that he'd kind of not really hit the levels that we were expecting previously, but it was a great performance by him. So hopefully the consistency levels can rise and that he can take confidence for this kind of performance going forward. Maybe that's all he's needed, a wee boost of confidence or such. But I'm kind of hanging fire just now on judgment kind of Yang. Palmer, on the trajectory he's on at the minute, he could meet where Jota is, but that'll be a hard task in itself, because I thought kind of Jota's technical ability was second to none for what I've seen in a long time at Celtic. But I think Barry's spot on. That was one of my kind of points I was going to say as well. That you notice when we're playing against a kind of low block, maybe Dyson's the hardest worker I think we've had at Celtic for years upon years. And the amount of kind of output he's getting for his defensive side and chasing the ball down, and his effort with regards to that is second to none. But when we are playing against a kind of low block, maybe that different kind of option with Yang and Palmer that they're no as he'd do and run kind of style as maybe my does. He's been low to kind of his finishing product and his kind of cross as well isn't ideal, but he's always a great weapon to have on your team. So maybe that is a wee mix up we could have. But with Palmer and Yang coming in while he's out, we can take advantage when we're playing kind of teams at Parkhead that we can get in behind with that wee bit extra trickery that the two players have got compared to what Dyson's got. But overall, it was a good performance. I know I said I was a bit critical. I don't know how you guys felt. I thought he's only 20, so I didn't want to be over critical, but I thought his home was a bit not as good as the rest of the team, if I'm being fair. I thought some of his ball distribution wasn't the best, but we can't be too overcritical because he's 20-year-old, he's just moved to a new country, new team, still adjusting. He has looked promising. But that's the only kind of negative that I take for the weekend. I thought everybody was definitely past marks, and you'd be looking at most of the players were probably some of the best performances they've had this season so far.
Yeah, I can see some of what you're saying there. I'm going to tell you now. This is for me. This is what I think. I think Palmer's going to be better than Jota. I can see it. He's going to bring, as Baz says, he brings something different that Jota doesn't. I mean, Jota could run at you and skin you, but Palmer doesn't have that blistering pace, to get in, maybe to get in behind. But Palmer's got in abundance is close ball control, and he can shift his feet like Tom Rogic, if that's a better way. He can move it fast with his feet, and he knows how to shoot. As Baz says, he's probably going to I think his goal getting is probably going to be better than Jota's.
He's got an arrogance that I like. I'd say that. Yes. He's got an arrogance with the ball.
What I will say to you, Alan, I've watched him now closely at a few home games now. Defenders are frightened of him, mate. They are scared of him. It's his movement with his body. The way he goes, defend. He retired Nicky Devlin yesterday. Nicky Devlin's sitting playing hangman with a boy Gallan for Atletico Madrid because the two of them have came to Parkhead and ended their careers. Maeda ended Gallan's and maybe even Cammy Kerr. I know Cammy Kerr when he came with Dundee. Maeda done him that week as well. So they're stocking up now. They're all sitting in the green room now and they're all waiting on what's going on, and they're under the spell of Maeda and our wingers, as I said. But no, for me, Palmer's. Francis has just said it there. I'm just about to say it. Palmer's final ball is unbelievable. You're talking about technique, Alan, right? You said obviously with Jota, and I can't disagree with you. But the outside of it, that O's first goal, the outside of the boot pass, mate. You don't just come off it. You don't just, you don't come away from playing FIFA with your mates and you're able to do that. Do you know what I mean? That's no place L2 and hold in triangle and maybe it'll do it, maybe it won't, depending on what the weather's like, mate. You're born with that, mate. That's Baz will tell you no more than anybody. You're born with that. If you do that and make an arse of yourself, then everybody's laughing at you. But to do that when Scales plays that ball, the ball's played with speed run to him. He's got to take a touch and then he just looks up and he knows exactly what he's going to do. And then the goal celebration with Big O, I thought that was brilliant as well. And that's just acknowledgement now in terms of how good that ball was. So, no,
Do you think it
I'm
was
not
better
getting
than
it.
Jota's for Kyogo in the
It's up
UEFA
there,
Cup?
mate. It's up there. It's up there. But what a ping that was as well. That was a great ping. But no more so, Baz. The touch of Kyogo to kill that and put it in front of yourself was even more impressive. To ping it out. That was the one with Fenwick Varos, wasn't it?
Aye,
Ferris.
That was unbelievable. That was a top pass.
aye.
But it's definitely one of the best balls I've seen. Do you know what that reminded me? Right, see being there yesterday. Remember Moravcik controlled the ball with his backside?
Against Tibbs.
I couldn't believe what I was. See when I saw Palma doing that, and then Palma turns away and he does that. It's like,
Aye.
he knew exactly what he'd done. That's you call that arrogance, Al. That's when he even knows that was good.
It's a good arrogance. It's good to have a certain
Yes,
amount of arrogance in your
yes,
game that he knows that he's got that kind of ability to pull that
yeah.
off.
The boy
Again,
Young as well. Like the one he cuts inside and then he's reverse pass to O'Reilly, and again his Baz touches on. To have that technical brilliance, not only with one foot, but to shift it from one onto another, to reverse pass that. That's not something you can just go in the park and do. That's worked on weeks and weeks and weeks in advance in terms of your attacking play, how you're going to do it. Teams set up a low block, then you've got to play fast. You've got to play the ball from side to side and get people moving, and you've got to put people in uncomfortable positions. So you could see Nicky Devlin wasn't comfortable all day, and the boy Jensen certainly wasn't comfortable after Yang went by him once or twice. But obviously, we'll touch on the goals. I mean, the first goal, Paz, Yang picks the ball up. Another great pass for, as you mentioned him earlier, but he complimented him really well yesterday in terms of Greg Taylor. He gives the ball out to him. And for me, Greg Taylor's better at coming in field and, helping McGregor in the 6 row and taking the ball in the half turn and looking up and picking pat. I think you get better at. Greg Taylor's not a defender for me. He's better at doing that, and when he's allowed to do that, you see what Greg Taylor can bring. Because am I right in saying he used to be a midfielder?
I don't know.
I think he started in midfield, didn't he, when he was younger? If anybody in the chat here can correct me if I'm wrong, I think he started. I think he did though. I think he started in midfield. But great pass, and then Palma, a nice wee overstep. Again, shows how comfortable he is, Baz, in terms of shifting the ball from his right onto his left peg. And then what a delivery. I mean, he just eliminates. People are saying it's bad goalkeeping. No, it was just a great ball. The ball just eliminated the goalkeeper. And a great header for Young.
I think Greg Taylor, plays a great part in it because he actually, I think it's the boy Paul Varrett's Palma gets shaped up and Devlin has to go with the run of Greg Taylor on the outside, but Paul Vara then, it makes him think, am I going with Greg Taylor here as well? So he kind of gets, the two of them get caught with who to take, and it kind of frees Palma up a wee bit to put that cross in. But it was a great cross because I seen the highlights and I seen them saying the goalie was at fault, but the flight of the ball is going away for the goalie. He tries to punch it away, but it's curling away from him, which he can't get his hand on it if it's curling away from him. So it's a great header as well. It's a great finish because sometimes they're hard. He's probably not known for his aerial ability either, so probably not a natural goal for him to get the boy Yang. But I thought the header was brilliant. But it was a great cross. He's quick off the mark, Palma, like for a standing start. But I don't think he can get away from people. But he's got that burst of speed or a 1v1 that can give him that yard to work his magic, basically, and that's sometimes all you need. Beckham was a master for it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Never really took anybody on, but he had that half a yard in him to get a yard and then deliver, and I think Palmer's got enough speed to get away from people, and he showed it with the first goal assist.
Yeah. Alan, you want to add anything to the first goal, mate, in terms of what you think you saw?
No, just echo that. Kind of great team goal, especially the way Palmer goes by, as Barry and yourself said, he's no blessed with kind of natural blistering pace, but he's managed to get a fair bit of room there to get that good cross in. So I it's kind of, it's frightening that he's not that fast, but he's still able to get that kind of room to work with the ball. So that it was an impressive cross. The header, it's just like a kind of cushion header into the net, but he obviously does well to control that, because as Barry said, it's probably a lot more difficult than it looks because of how fast the ball's moving. So to cushion that ball into the back of the net it's a nice touch as well. So overall, great start to the game and a good goal.
Yeah, I think obviously Yang as well. Not only is it a great ball for Palmer, but I think with Yang, his movement to get on the end of that is perfect as well. Again, Jensen sleeping. Yang's just too quick and moves into a position. Then obviously the second goal, Baz, comes again with great play with Yang from the wing. Shows great confidence, taking a couple of men on, and then he goes inside and he flicks a reverse ball with his left foot, and then Matt O'Reilly picks the ball up, and the wee man's movement is just, again, back to the big guy beside me yesterday before the game. He's like, Kyogo's not scored in 4 games. I said, that's all right. I said, he normally scores against Aberdeen, don't worry about it. And he's like, no, that's, he's not scored in 4 games. He's not been in it. His seed's not there, nor that. I was like, no worries. Okay, cool. See, when that goal went in, mate, I jumped on the top of him, and I was like, yeah! Just jumped on him. And so his day didn't go too well because I jumped on him. But overall, mate, another well-worked team goal. Some really nice football, intricate passing, and a great bit of movement for Kyogo again, mate, to get that.
No, I think when we're talking about Dice Maeda, you probably don't get that goal because I think with Yang, when teams are playing in low box, you need to commit people by running at them with the ball and bringing people into position to get runners in there. And I think Maeda is quite direct. He'll pass it backwards or he'll come short after the ball and spin to get in. But when it's low box, it's hard because there's no space to really do that. So I think with Yang at the weekend, he was perfect to play because he runs with the ball at people and commits people and drags people out of that low block, which allows Matt O'Reilly. You can see Matt O'Reilly's game intelligence is unbelievable because I was watching the goal, but I've watched the goal a few times, and you can see Matt O'Reilly standing, knowing fine well that Yang's coming inside with this ball. He's not going to go down the outside. He's coming inside, so he's actually standing still, Matt O'Reilly. And that's the hardest thing in football sometimes is to stand still and no move because you always think, I need to be moving to get onto the ball here. But for the first few seconds of that goal when he dribbles in, he's actually standing still, waiting for the right time to then move. And you can see him pointing. And his timing of the run was beautiful. And he had 2 options as well because Holm was at the penalty spot waiting for a tap in as well if he doesn't go Kyogo. But his movement's that good that he makes Matt O'Reilly's mind up for him because in that position there, you normally go for the cutback to the penalty spot 9 times out of 10 because it's a straight pass, the Kyogo finish. But because Kyogo's movement's that good, he makes Matt O'Reilly's mind up for him because he's probably going to pull it back to home, but he's that sharp and that quick to get across the centre half that he's got a tap in, and it's a lovely finish as well because he had to sort his feet out because he was moving that quick that he didn't really get time to arrange his feet by the time the ball comes to him, but he somehow manages to just stick out his left leg and tap it in. But that was a lovely goal. That'll be something that they've worked on time and time again because I've seen Matt O'Reilly in that position time and time again. So that'll be something that Brendan's probably buzzing off a lot more than the other goals because that'll be something that they've probably worked on since the summer, since Brendan came in, was the number 8s getting into the positions and your striker getting across the front.
Mm-hmm. Alan, I think it's key. I watched Matt O'Reilly's podcast with the Celtic for Celtic, obviously Celtic TV or the Celtic podcast as it's called, and he speaks on the podcast about he tries to. I'm not saying he's as good as a guy, right? So anybody that's sitting here watching
De
and listening
Bruyne.
just now. This is not what I'm saying. Yes, he said he kind of models part of his game on Kevin De Bruyne. Now, in his movement, just as Baz says, and his game intelligence, I think that has got better over the last, well, the last 6 months anyway, from the beginning of the season. There is an argument, mate, that Brendan Rodgers is getting the better out of guys like Daisy Maeda, like Matt O'Reilly, like Liam Scales. So, you know, it probably splits opinion. But in terms of Matt O'Reilly, mate, I think John made a comment earlier, and he was at the game. He hadn't been to Celtic for a while, and he says he was at the game yesterday, and he really enjoyed being part of that, and you know, watching Matt O'Reilly, because for me, mate, he's just phenomenal. And I think, as Baz touched on there, I think that goal itself just summed up more about what he's about, mate.
I think we've said a few times on the pod that he's definitely took his game to a new level this year, especially his movement within the box. And I think the biggest example of that was the Hearts game, wasn't it? The 4-1 game, the first goal.
Yeah.
His movement into the box with the Palmer pass. That was, I know the Palmer pass.
Who passed it to him again, Alan?
The Palmer pass was good.
He's always involved. This guy's always involved, Baz, isn't he? He's always doing about. He's always in the.
He's getting away. He's leaving, man.
Didn't he want to say that? Didn't he want to say that?
He's always in the. He's always in the. So tell us again. What was your pass? Tell us again.
No, the movement for Matt O'Reilly there. That's where you're seeing a difference in his game. I've always thought kind of Matt O'Reilly's a really great player, but when you look at the difference that he's making these kind of movements into the box more regular than he did possibly last season, and it's obviously showing in black and white as well with the amount of kind of assists and goals that he's getting. He's joint top goal scorer in the league now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of obviously paying up for him as well that he's getting that output with goals and assists, but you can notice a difference in his game that he's making the runs more into the box and in smarter terms as well. Some of these runs, like we've seen for that second goal as well, like Barry says, like the slight delay and the run in, it is top notch, and I think he's taking his game to a new level. And I don't know who passed the bottle.
I'll tell you, I'll put you right in the picture right now, son. Don't you worry, I'll put you right in the picture right now. It was a man with a black gelled hair, Louis Palmer. What a ball up by the way. Here another. You talk about technique. What a pass that is as well. You just forget how good he is, don't you? You forget what he's actually done prior to even watching him hitting that one minute outside his boot. Yesterday that we're going to come to again, by the way. Don't worry about that. Palmer, talk about his passing ability. He's, you know, the technique of him. No. Are you kidding on? Below sober viewers if I start talking about him. I'm only kidding. But a wee question I'll put to both of you. Al, since you've just answered, mate, you can have a go at it first. Ryan's asking, he says, is O'Reilly becoming as good or as important as Hatate and McGregor? What's your thoughts, mate?
They're different types of players. I think they all kind of offer their own kind of abilities in the three in the midfield, and they all kind of work really well, obviously, together. I see O'Reilly's it's hard to pin down. You want to say that he's starting to become that player like Tom Rogic, but he's not really. He's kind of a hybrid between maybe like a Petrov and a Rogic, somewhere in between that. The type of player, I'm not saying the quality, but his importance within the team is kind of, that's getting up there. I think that would be the question, is he is important? Aye. But he's different kind of players who hit at O'Reilly. They bring their own importance as well. But it's a good thing to have that you just get these three kind of midfielders that are obviously technically gifted and offer a lot towards the team and the squad. So it's a great question to ask and a great problem to have to answer it.
Well done, Ryan. You've left them puzzled, mate. Baz, what's your thoughts on that one?
I wouldn't say no. I'd probably say no. I think the other two are McGregor for obvious reasons, being the leader, the way he controls the tempo of the game. I think he sets the tempo of the whole game for Celtic. If he wants to slow it down, he'll slow it down. If he wants to speed it up, he'll speed it up. He plays the game at whatever tempo he wants the game played at. My feelings on Hatate will never change, even though he's had a slow start, probably this season. I don't think on their day and that team's better than him. I think he's unbelievable. Pretty similar players though, but I think Hatate, the difference between Hatate and O'Reilly is pace, probably. I think Hatate's got that wee bit more to get away from people. But it's very similar. And I think Matt O'Reilly this season arguably been the best player in the league by a good bit. So right now, if we lost him, he'd be a big miss. We had Hatate out as well, but he's slowly becoming like that level. He's still young, so he's stealing sky high. But
yeah,
I think the two are massive, especially McGregor. I think Hatate's the best player we've got, but McGregor's the most important because he runs the game and whatever tempo, like I said, however he wants the game played, it gets played at that tempo. And if we seen it last year, we missed him. No, we done all right without him, but I think he would be the biggest miss along with, like I said, the core, Carter Vickers and Kyogo.
Yeah. So it's a question, is Palmer up there with McGregor and Hatate? I think so. Aye. No, I think so. Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't. It was, my head's a baby. Sorry, boys. I thought about Matt O'Reilly. Yes. Matt O'Reilly's, for me, Matt O'Reilly's instrumental in the way we want to play in midfield. I think he complements Hatate and McGregor. And if all three are fit at the same time, for me, that's our midfield trio. You're not getting in that midfield unless you've got something special. As many goals as Turnbull's going to score, and he gives us that as a goal threat. I just don't think Davy controls games the way these guys can. I don't think Davy's got that. For me personally, Davy's been here a good few years now, and he's never, for me, managed to take that, that next step. There's something holding him back. I don't know what it is. I don't know. He's a great goal scorer and he contributes that way to the team. There's more to, yourself, Baz, there's more to football in modern day, mate, and you need to do more when you're on the pitch. Some games David drifts in and out, and I think Brendan, I certainly know, look, him now as a manager, he demands more from you in terms of a collective performance. So I think if those three are the main three that are fit to play, I think those three are the midfield trio, lads. I really do. But yeah, there's an ongoing conversation that I think bits of it are quite funny happening in the chat now. And John brings up a very good point. He says it's the Sky coverage of Scottish football is a disgrace. It's all adverts, and he's asking people to stop subscribing. So, but what one person does want to know something from yourself, Baz, and it's Mr. John Shirley. He's asking, can you do what Pamela does with your left foot, mate? He doesn't need to answer that. I'll tell you. Aye, he can. It was him at top Palmer, mate, today. I'm only kidding. Aye, on you go, Baz. You can answer that one, mate.
No, probably not. It's a hard ball. I don't know. I think I'd do my knee if I tried that, didn't I? No, probably not. The WD-40 knees.
Aye. I think the paramedics would be looking for me, man, if I tried something like that, man. Well, knee would just give away if I tried something like that. Ryan would be able to do it, but he'd need to do about 25 takes on his half 10 show to get that done for his boys. But I'd imagine he's had a few things were outside his fit, by the way, let me know, kidsies. And I'm sure he'll verify that himself the next time he's on. John then does tell a few people about the Sky Sports coverage. He then says he's heard through a friend that you can get it on a Fire Stick for free, but he says he wouldn't know. That's quite good.
I've not heard about
Good advertising. Not myself, no, but that's a family show on here. We try and keep things a bit more straight and narrow. And
If I not heard it's Irish adverts that you get with that one as well, isn't it?
Is it?
I've heard that.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Do
you gotta be? Right, okay. I wouldn't know, mate. I wouldn't know.
No,
we're all legit at this part of the company. We definitely are.
Fire stick.
I wouldn't partake in anything like that.
I thought a fire stick was a stick with fire on the end of it, and somebody
For
corrected me the other day about it.
Firework.
Halloween, firework, that's what I thought the fire stick was. No, as I say. Yes, lads, and then Bazza, we come to a moment in the game. We get to half time, 2-0 up, and we come to a moment in the game, mate, where now this is probably going to split opinions. We see Kyogo being nastily taken out again by I don't know what the boy was trying. I know he's leaning forward to try and header the ball, and people are saying to me that his eyes are on the ball, and you do not. This is just my opinion. You might see it differently, boys. Alan, you might see it differently again. You do not. When someone's got your back to you, whether you're the defender or he's a striker, if your back's to the player, you do not know what's coming, first and foremost, being the attacking player. But if you're the defender in that moment, Buzz, in my opinion, if you fly in mid-air in the direction of the player, regardless of whether you're trying to win the ball or not, with all your body weight at pace, for me, mate, that's excessive force. Now, not only does he then make contact with Kyogo, but he headers him in a bit of his head that then knocks Kyogo unconscious. So much so that we've seen today that Kyogo doesn't have any memory of what happened after that. And he woke up practically in the hospital, in a private hospital somewhere. So this is probably going to split opinions. Celtic part erupted yesterday when that happened. And it didn't even look like Baz it went to VAR. Willie Collum automatically gave Rubicic a yellow card, when most of us were probably shouting for a red card. How do you see that incident yourself, Baz?
At first, obviously, it looks bad, and it is bad when you look at it the more times you see it. But I just think, I don't think the boy's done much wrong. I just think Kyogo's been too brave for his own good. When you look at it again, the boy's coming down the side of Kyogo, and Kyogo's trying to flick it to Palma, I think, that was on the outside, which then directs his head that way to where the boy's coming through the back of him. I think it's a fair challenge because he wins the ball first, but with Kyogo then trying to flick to the outside, he then creates the contact with the Aberdeen guy's head, but it is dangerous, and the way the game is at the minute, could it have been a red card? Very easily. Even though the boys know, I don't think he's insinuated the contact. I think it's because how Kyogo's tried to get a bit on the ball that then creates the contact with the guy for Aberdeen. But I don't think you can, like you said, be coming in with that much force and leaving. I think he left the ground to header it. It doesn't look great, and it is very, very dangerous. As you've seen, he's woke up and not knowing where he is. Touch wood, he's all right and he's came through, but it could have easily been a lot worse. So when you look at it like that, it could have been a red card, but on the flip side, you probably want your defender to come and win the kind of challenges. I think Kyogo's been too brave. he must have knew the defender's coming because he's intelligent and you kind of know where the defender is. Maybe he didn't expect him to come and commit and be as brave as he was, that guy. But I feel as if it would have been a harsh red card, to be honest. I think he's won the ball, and Kyogo, by trying to flick the ball to the outside, has created the contact that the guy was coming in at speed.
Alan, I think it's, like I say, it's obviously going to split opinions, mate. I've seen it back plenty of times now, and I can see where Baz is coming from. I can also see both sides of the argument, where people think it's a red card, and some people don't even think it's a booking. Yeah, the big lad wins the ball. I just think personally, I don't think he's went to actually do Kyogo, as in he's tried to hurt him. I actually think the big lad's quite clumsy, Alan. For a centre-half, modern-day centre-half, mate, his peripheral vision is not the best, mate. I watched him closely yesterday, and he just looked like a bag of nerves, a big boy. Every time he get a ball, his first touch was like a pass. And he was trying to give the ball away to somebody, like he was looking for Shinnie every time, and the boy Clarkson, and, you know, he just didn't want to know, and didn't want on the ball. So overall, I don't think he's meant to hurt Kyogo. But as Baz says as well, on the flip side of that, I don't think he's known that Kyogo was going to be that brave, and that Kyogo was going to stand his ground there and, be allowed to make contact. But as a football manager, Alan, I'm looking at it. If my centre half isn't going to try to win that ball, mate, I'm wanting to know why he's gave the centre forward a free touch on the ball with nobody near him. So it's like giving someone a free header. Doesn't matter what area of the pitch it's in. You're not even going to make contact with the player. So why? I'd be wanting to know why he's. But Baz, what I'll say, mate, is he didn't cover himself in glory, mate, when he celebrates to the Celtic fans. He reacted quite badly to that yesterday, I thought, Rubicic, because he knew the Celtic fans wanted him off, and he goes over. I think he wins another tackle again with a header. I think it's him and Palmer going for the ball, and he kind of headers it out, and it might have been and he kind of just gets up and fist pumps the air right in front of the Jock Stein stand yesterday, which came a wall of booing after that. And then you seen Graham Shinnie going over to him, Baz, and saying, "Look, big man, you're going to need to calm down a wee bit, this," because he could probably see the game getting the better of him. But Alan, overall, mate, what's your thoughts on the Kyogo incident?
I can see people's points on both sides. I'm kind of swaying towards what Barry's saying. I think it's a 50-50 and both players should be going for that. I don't think there's a great deal of intent for the Aberdeen player to do anything untoward towards Kyogo. It's just unfortunate the way they kind of that phase of plays kind of panned out for Kyogo. I think he's went in to win the ball. It is excessive. I can see that side of it. But I don't think, as you say, Sarah, I don't think the Aberdeen defender should be pulling out of that challenge either. So I can see both sides, but I'm slightly swaying towards that a yellow's fair. There is force there, but I can't see the intent. I think the guy's he's clearly trying to win the ball. He does win the ball, but it just so happens that it's turned out a kind of horrible, nasty one for Kyogo. So it's no nice for us to see as Celtic fans. But I think it'd be harsh if that was a red card. But I could see you've seen a lot kind of less challenges than that end up red cards. So you would be. I'm kind of on the fence with that, but slightly leaning towards. I'd say a yellow's fair.
And if Vicky on that, Plunge actually noticed me at the game yesterday, and I was in disguise. I had my big Willie Tammy on yesterday, lads, my Celtic bonnet, and it was cold yesterday, by the way. And it's cold when I'm putting bonnets on, and then obviously at the end of the game it drops to -8 in temperature, and it's really cold. But Baz, I think the Kyogo thing, mate, I think that I think it's one of the incidents, mate. It's always going to split opinions when with stuff like that. I seen the day Dermot Gallagher speaking as well on Sky Sports, and he said, I mean, he doesn't even think it's a booking, and I think Maestro has a fair point there. I don't even know. Does anyone know why he was given a yellow card then? If people are saying it wasn't a foul, or it wasn't.
I think
Fully
the state of Kyogo is, he looks at that and thinks maybe he is today's son. Do you know what I mean? Because he's obviously the Celtic player Matt O'Reilly's panicking straight away and asking for physios on. He obviously sees that Kyogo's knocked out. That can play a part. He might feel as if he needs to then do something. But if if it was like the big man's took the ball and then went towards Kyogo, if he insinuated the contact, even though he's won the ball, then maybe it's a red card, because it's like if you see the Romero for Spurs the other night against Chelsea, where he wins the ball and goes through and takes the man. That's similar, but I think he only contacts Kyogo because Kyogo's direction he has heed. So I think if Kyogo doesn't go in there, the big man doesn't contact him. But because Kyogo tried to flick the ball, the big man's got there first, won it, and then smashed into Kyogo. So, but it is dangerous. It was really dangerous in the end. But I don't think he's to blame, because I don't think he's just tried to win the ball, and Kyogo's kind of put himself into the firing line kind of thing.
Yeah. Aye, no, like I say, I can see both sides of the argument. I can see why people thought it was a red card, and right away so did I, because when you're at the games yourself, lads, and even when you're involved with these things, Baz, you only get to see that one thing. And I always go with players' reactions, and their reactions yesterday was to get him help quick. He was in trouble, and you seen Matt O'Reilly and Callum McGregor was back and forth, and then all of a sudden Kyogo's interpreter went onto the pitch as well. I don't know if a wee man woke up and he thought the World Cup was still on or whatever, and he was playing with Japan. I don't know, but to hear the day that he doesn't remember it, and he doesn't remember after walking off himself, but you can see his eyes, he's like, he's dazed, I think it's touch everybody's okay. I think obviously Brendan announces after the game that he's not going to travel, but we'll move on now, because obviously we've touched on that, and we'll go to the third goal, Alan. You want to do the honours, mate, and talk us through that one, mate?
Tumble? I don't know. I'm right. No, penalty.
Big Louis.
I'm forgetting that.
What was it, Ham?
This is great.
Big O get his legs swept.
Oh, aye. No, it's a Stonewall penalty. Every day of the week, Stonewall penalty. There's no option about it. There's some penalties that you look at and go, they have a wee second look at that. That's no one of them. So
what ones you talking about, big man? Earlier on in the day?
Aye, when Tom Daly. Aye, there's that one. That was a bit of theatrics, aye. But no, this was in a different ballpark for that. That's a Stonewaller all day. You'll not get much else you'll see, but I don't think we want to spend too much time on it.
It's not that, before we go into that, right? You're saying, it's not that, boys. Big O didn't know his left leg worked to that get kicked into action with that movement, by the way. Now his 2 feet are all right to go, by the way. That's how we scored 2 yesterday.
It's a kickstart.
That was a kickstart a big man needed in his career. But then obviously, on to the penalty, and then...
good finish.
Who hit the penalty?
We know who hit the penalty. Right. I was a bit worried about his how close to the ball he was.
You actually need to tell the people in case people weren't at the game and didn't see the goal, mate. So we can
Lewis Palmer.
He just keeps cropping up, this guy, all the time. Every time he's
put it in the left top corner.
He actually
it's a
gave the
good,
goalie no chance.
aye, it's a good penalty, but I was kind of worried when I seen his step up. He's quite close to the ball. I don't know if that's his technique when he's taking penalties. Like, everybody's different, but aye, obviously it's working for him because you put the ball away. Fantastic spot, and as you say, goalie's no chance. 3-0, game over.
Baz,
It
penalty
was,
for you, mate.
it's penalty, mate. Bit late. I know Disney connect with it the way he wants to, but it's a penalty. You can't take people out like that in the penalty box. So I definite penalty, and I thought the big man Palmer was talk about arrogance after the penalty. He's quite arrogant. He's run up. He's obviously took penalties before. It was
How's he not been on them before?
I know, true, because we've not been great at penalties this season, but
No.
I think after that one, he'll be on them now. He looks as if he's confident and took them before. It's not the normal penalty, but it's the way he hits them, and you can't grumble about it because it was a great penalty. Even if the keeper goes early, he probably still doesn't get it. It's side netting, so it was a guy who was confidence was sky high, and you can see that in the penalty.
Yeah, he just does. He's that sort of gifted class, is that I would is what I would tell Alan time and time again. And just as Anjem says, it's the name just gets easier and easier to say every time he always comes up in conversation. He'll come up before we're finished again. I guarantee something happens and he's there. He's in.
Will it be the fifth goal, would it? No.
No, it might be.
Can we just have the clarity that I'm saying he's a good player?
We'll get to the fourth goal first, and we'll don't get too far ahead of yourself. We'll get to that one. Obviously, I'll onto the fourth goal. Just again, mate. Just another unbelievable dig for David Turnbull, but in my opinion, mate, if you give him that amount of room, he's gonna, you know what he can do. Why would you step off? Like, it's beyond me as to why that big boy Rubicic just left him, just on you go and hit a shot. But I've seen people say the boy Keller Roos, the goalkeeper's done better. Goalie's never saving that in a month of Sundays. Never. He's never. He could have 3 goals. He could 3 goals at try to save that, and he's still not getting that. Where Turnbull hit that off a post.
I think it's because the ball bounces a lot, but I think he's got I think he might have the opportunity to move his body across. I think the goalie should do better personally. I don't know what Barry thinks. Obviously, Turnbull's done what Turnbull does. He's made Boswell on target right inside the post, so there's no much else you can ask for Turnbull. But if that was a goal against us, I would be questioning the goalkeeper, to be fair. That's just my opinion. But there's still a good finish at the end of the day.
Guys, you go with that, mate, or do you see it differently yourself?
I just think I know he's saying the big man doesn't get out quick enough, but Turnbull's an intelligent player, and he's in position. He knows, played lots of games now, knows where to be on the park to get shots off. It's not just by luck that he keeps getting time and space around the edge of teams' penalty boxes, because he'll be getting marked before games where the other team saying don't let him shoot from outside the box because he normally scores. So it's not just by luck, that's an intelligent footballing brain, i.e. the earlier goal with Matt O'Reilly standing still. Turnbull finds himself in positions where he knows one touch, I'm going to have a touch and shoot. And he finds himself in it a lot of times. And right now at Celtic Park, he's the biggest goal threat we've got outside the box. I think he's shooting outside the box is brilliant. I touched on him at the start of the season. I know he started well and then he's tailed off a wee bit, but I think he's joint top goal scorer maybe or something for Celtic this season. He gets goals no matter what people say about him. He's a goal scoring midfielder and they're hard to come by. And I think with that goal, the defender, it's hard for him to step out because there's strikers as well that might be running in behind you. So the defender comes when it's too late, which is he's took up a quality position and an intelligent position because he knows that he's going to have time to get a touch and get his shot off. And he does the goalie with the eyes because 9 times out of 10 through that angle, you probably go the other side. He's went through the guy's legs. A lot of people do that as well, aim for legs nowadays because your natural reaction as a defender is to put your one leg up to try and block the shot, even though they're early enough to block it. You put your leg up. So a lot of players actually do aim for legs nowadays because you see loads of goals now aiming for the legs, going through the legs, and it's a goal. I know what the big man's saying. It didn't go in at the an unbelievable pace, but I think when you do the goalie like that, it doesn't matter because the goalie's travelling across his goal, thinking it's gone the other side. He's gambled, and he's just been done by Turnbull with the eyes. And people say that he should have saved it, maybe, but I don't think he doesn't know he's gone there. So I think it's a great goal. It's a very intelligent goal because he's got it. The ball's coming for the left. He takes his touch. The goalie's travelling as the ball's coming to him as well, and he reverses it back. It's a great finish.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think Turnbull's got that intelligence, but you know, I think I touched on a few moments ago that he tends to drift in and out of games in terms of, you've got, in my opinion, you've got your tempo carriers in teams like Callum McGregor. Like, you play a similar role yourself for your team, guys. So obviously, you guys are instrumental in how the game should be played from there. And then you've got guys like Rio Atati, Matt O'Reilly, who can then take the team through the gears into that sort of 8-10 position, start creating, looking up, first touch, controlling the game. And I just think certain games, Turnbull, he just doesn't grab a game with a scruff of the neck the way the other boys do, which is why I think you find him a sub quite a lot of the times. But what he does offer you is he'll shoot. He's probably one of him and obviously we'll come to him in a minute. Somebody else that's got a good shot on him. But and obviously they're not frightened to have a shot. But there isn't many, and some will just play that extra pass, or they'll try and try that other wee move. But Turnbull gives you that in abundance. He gives you that, and that's where Turnbull gets a lot of joy because the games that he drifts in and out of can only be just a split moment. And Turnbull, like Baz says, Alan, he gets that split second, mate, and teams are coached against that, mate. Teams are told to shut him down, and it's testament to how good he is at it because he can continue to do it, and he does it more regularly. And he doesn't. Obviously, then we go on and we get a fifth goal, Alan. For me, mate, I've banged the drum about him all season as well in terms of Liam Scales, mate. I think the way he picks the ball up and he just moves it, shifts, boom, tempo, bang, right out to the wing. And I'll let you talk us through how we get the fifth goal.
No, I agree. That's probably one of the best I've seen Liam Scales play at the weekend there, with the confidence of coming forward with the ball. I thought he looked really well there. I know I've kind of said before about how well we used kind of Carter Vickers last year, kind of started this year with bringing the ball out for the centre half position, moving us up the field. But Liam Scales looks as if he's kind of gaining that confidence, and I'd hope that as well. We obviously the kind of plaudits he's getting for his performances and the kind of game time that he's continuing to get, kind of week in, week out. He's one of the mainstays of the team at the minute. So he passes the ball out to the winger crosses, and great finish.
Who's a winger? Hold on a wee minute. Wait a minute. You cannot. That's blasphemy on here. You cannot just blasé say that. Like, I've told you, people here might not have had the privilege to see that goal, big man. So you need to paint that picture to them and let them know and let them feel your excitement in what you saw. Don't just say played it to the winger and the winger played it in and scored.
I'm doing that.
Explain the scenario as in how when he played it to the winger and what exactly happened.
Lewis Palmer picks up the ball and it's a delightful outside of the foot cross in pin perfect accuracy, and he puts on a plate for there's no O's been in that position, but it's all about Palmer there. That cross is just it's pinpoint. Striker can't miss that. It's put in that good a position, so it is top notch delivery. In all seriousness, the cross was frightening and fantastic to watch when you're seeing that kind of ability. So it was a sexy cross to watch and a great goal overall.
Yeah, it was also a moment in the game where I thought it was like that Lubo moment, Baz, when he controls the ball with his bum against Hearts when Big Baldy plays a 60-yard pass cross field and the man just pings that ball out of Hermes' backside. I had to watch it again because I thought my eyes were deceiving me, mate, in terms of not just to try that, Baz, but to try and execute that pass and do it the way he done it, and then turn and do that himself, knowing that was a great ball. But not only so, mate, and I'm going to pay you respect that you're due for this one, because you've been banging the drum about him for the last couple of weeks, maybe even the month and a half, just over the mark, about giving the big lad a chance. I actually thought O's movement for the goal, Baz, helps to make that ball even more delicious, and that, he's right on the end of it, because O does have to shuffle himself from an area to an area in order to get on the end of that and to get himself positioned in front of the defender and to bang that in, to be, I just think overall, mate, I think that's a class goal.
It's a wonderful goal. Obviously, they moved the ball about beforehand to get the time and space for Palmer on the left. The pace he scales his pass, obviously, probably goes unnoticed, but if he bobbles that or takes a bit off it, Palmer doesn't get the time to have a touch and get his head up and pick that pass out. But the ball's unbelievable. There's nobody that I've seen, and I watch Scottish football a lot in Scotland, that can do that apart from him. It's an unbelievable cross. It's so hard today. I think you see Luka Modric does it a lot, probably every week. He scores by doing it as well. You see the credit he gets for it. It's basically known as the Luka Modric, innit? He does it every week. So I don't think there's many people in Scottish football right now that could do what he's done there at the weekend. Like I said, you could tell for the off that his confidence was sky high. He was having a good game, and that's when you start to try them things. And it's a wonderful piece of skill. But like I said, it's a great finish for the big man as well. That's where you want your strikers in the 6-yard box in the middle of the goal when crosses are coming in. And he was in there, and you can see that the big man thrives. A lot of his goals have been crosses. There's one thing that I'll say, even though he's not played a lot, he's always in the box when crosses are coming in, whether he's trying to get across the front or he unsettles defences when there's cross balls getting put in the box. And what I've seen as well with celebrations for both his goals, it looks as if him and Palmer have got a good relationship, and that might be from Palmer that likes to cross the ball, and the big man loves getting on the end of crosses, whereas maybe like Yangs and people like that are more direct and want to run with the ball. I think they two look as if they're quite close, which will probably be from having a relationship and training and a connection. And I think if the big man gets games and we've got Palmer out there delivering balls, he'll score goals for me.
Yes, I also think. I don't think he gets enough credit, because I also think the big man's very good technically. I also think he can play a bit with the ball at his feet. I've seen enough of him now to see that in him, and obviously we're going to go to that. The last goal of the day. But before we do, Baz, there's a wee question for you, mate. Hope you don't mind, mate. It's from Maestro on the YouTube. He's asking what you think of Tomoki Iwata. I do not know if he's still going with that name, because yesterday when he was announced to Celtic Park, they just announced him as Tomoki. So he'd lost the Iwata. And I'm not too sure if he lost a card game or something and they're not allowed to call him that anymore. Or I don't know what's going on, but they never say Iwata. But I think that's quite a good question, Maestro. Baz?
I like the bits I've seen him. I like him. I thought the best I'd seen him was at Tynecastle. I think he came on and I was really impressed with him that day. I liked him actually last season as well when it was either the cup final or the semi against Rangers. I thought he was good when he came on then. Another one that's not had enough game, probably in the same boat as O, I would say. Probably not had a run in the team to really comment, but I think like Turnbull and O, these people are important. I'm a firm believer of you're only as good as your people who's on your bench, because you need them people and you need them people to have the right attitude day in, day out. And when you come to call upon them, you need to make sure that they want to go out there and work for you. And I think he's got a real part to play, whether it's 5-10 games, it could be the most important games that he has to come on in and see results through. So
Yeah.
I think people like him and O and your Turnbulls, a lot of people write them off, but there will be times this season where Celtic fans will say, oh, he's won us the game today and changed the game for us, or great sub, come on and seen the game out for him. So
yep.
I like what I've seen him. I've not seen enough, but that's credit to the three who have got the jerseys and the ones that have come in and played before him as well. But from what I've seen him, I think there's definitely a place for him there in the squad, and I think he looks reliable and he looks as if his attitude's spot on as well.
Alan, and then we come to the sixth goal. I've got a question for you, Baz, but obviously we'll leave that to just before we finish up. It's from the YouTube. But yeah, Alan, obviously the sixth goal, I'll just say my wee piece on it and then I'll let you two boys fill your boots. I think it's an absolute unbelievable pick-out pass from Matt O'Reilly, especially when I think he falls as he's on the way down, isn't he? And he just swings his left leg at it, and it's just, for me, it's just inch perfect. And then obviously the big man does what he does, but were you happy with it?
Aye, no, great pass. A great finish as well. I think the goal was expecting him to kind of go across him when he pulls it kind of inside. So it's a good finish. And as Baz was talking about, I think we're starting to see wee bits and bobs. I know he scores the goals, but 2 goals after coming on for the bench, it's got to do his confidence a world of good, especially a kind of young boy that's kind of moved to the other side of the world as well. I know he's been here for kind of a year and a bit, whatever it is now, but it's got to do his confidence a world of good, and it can only be beneficial for us as a club and a squad that if we've got 2 strikers that we could rely upon to play that position and put the ball in the back of the net. So here's hoping that kind of confidence can spur him on and he can build his kind of performances for here.
Yeah. 2 wee new comments here from Kevin Tavares. He's from Brazil. He said he's a Flamengo supporter, but he's also a big fan of Celtic. Thank you very much, Kevin, I hope I've pronounced your name correctly as well, for joining us. Same to yourself, Jamie Wooten. He said he's a big Sheffield United fan, but it doesn't matter if you're a Celtic fan, you are welcome on here. But yeah, thank you very much for the comments, lads, and welcome to the podcast. And if you do like the content, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. That would do us a benefit of the world of good. And it would also let you be notified when we go live. Baz, the last goal, mate, in terms of how it panned out and what you've seen, were you happy?
It was a great pass. Obviously, Matt O'Reilly picks it up, and Big O shows good movement and pace to get in behind. I know the pass was took the defender clean out, but the big man's got to move and stay on side and still get in. And I think the best thing about me for the 6th goal is they're the hardest ones as a striker, is when you've got too much time to think and you're going in goal. It looks easy because you're clean through in goal. Sometimes they're the hardest finishes. It's when you've not got time to think, you just go off the top of your head, bomb goal. But when you've got loads of time to think, and I think Turnbull's bursting a gut to get in the box to try and get a square pass. James Forrest was to the right of him as well. So there's loads of things going through his head there because he's thinking, I can square this, it's a tap in. The big man wants to score, and I like that about him because, like I said, he's not had much game time. So when he does get the game time, he needs to score and impress. And I like that for him. He was selfish, and as your striker, you want your strikers scoring goals. So I thought it was a great finish. With what was going on around him, how much time he had to think. Like the big man said, the goalie thinks he's gone across him and he reverses it as well. It was technically a nice finish, hot, crisp, and like I said, when you've got sometimes too much to think about, they're the hardest finishes for strikers, but I thought he took it brilliant. And probably, if he does score that first goal, does he get through and score it that easy? Probably no, but his confidence was probably up as well, and he made it look easy.
I think, obviously, like, what's noticeable there is to take that on and finish that 6th goal, to receive that pass from Matt O'Reilly, Baz. I think it takes a lot of courage, mate, to go on and strike that towards goal, because a lot of people, like, you know, especially centre forwards, especially if they're not playing so much and they're, you know, they're not filled with confidence, they'd be looking to lay that off to James Forrest, who's in acres of room for a tap in, essentially. So I think obviously finishing the way he did, again, another great finish. We saw a very similar one against St Mirren. But to do it that, you know, the way he done it, I think that is testament to him as a person as well. And not just that, lads, I think it's a work that is ongoing. I think Brendan's touched on it more than once now about the hard work that O's putting in behind the scenes to get himself ready to, when like things like that happen to Kyogo, he's then ready to come in and show us all what he can do. And I think that's the most exciting thing about it. People are going to say, you know, he needs to do it now over a period of time. You've got to hold on your horses a wee minute. He's not the first pick. To do the way he's doing it is impressive, because I don't think the game time backs up his goals, certainly outweigh his game time, if I'm right in saying that. I think he scored a few more goals than, you know, what people would expect in terms of the game time that he's had. So his return isn't actually all that bad when you look at it as a whole from when he signed.
Minutes per goal ratio is a lot better
Yes.
than what Kyogo's is.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's a catch-22, really. For me, he's got a lot to do before he overtakes Kyogo and becomes the mainstay in the team. But overall, I've always liked Big O. I've never really seen a problem in him. I've heard loads of people say, you know, he's not the go-to man if something happens to Kyogo, and I've heard different opinions. But I think overall, what we seen yesterday from him, we want to see more, and obviously the time we've got now between now and the end of the season, I think obviously as an area of the field we do need help in, lads. I really do think, you know, we Kyogo to carry a lot of the burden, and the amount of games that he's asked to play for us is eventually obviously going to take its toll. Hopefully this isn't a bad injury for Kyogo, and he will be back after this international break. But if not, then for me personally, you've got that reliability that you can say to Big O, right, big man, here you go. Next game's, just say for talking sake, I'm just putting this out there. Next game's Hibs at Parkhead, right? You ready to go, big man? Of course I'm ready to go, because he's working hard behind the scenes. He's doing all the hard work there, and I think yesterday we seen the fruits of that. So no, I was quite happy. But before we finish up, guys, as I said, we've got a wee question for yourself. This will be test of your memory, guys, and your it's a wee probably a bit of a trivia question for you, mate, as well. So, Anne Jem on YouTube says, question for Barry before you go. Can you remember who your old manager, Gerard Houllier, big shout there, by the way, likened you to as a player? And if so, did he actually say it to you himself? Now,
Lewis
Anne Jem's... I'm telling you now, if Gerard Houllier knew who Lewis Palmer was when Baz played under Gerard Houllier, then he's doing well, by the way, I'm telling
I
you.
was written in the stars, man. That was like Notre Dame kind of predicting things that he knew that Lewis Palmer was going to be talked about on this show, and that's all we're ever going to hear
At
about for
this
the rest of our
time.
lives after JP. That Lewis Palmer is, aye. I'm starting to dislike Lewis Palmer now because of the amount you talk about him. Even though he's a great player.
Wait till you see the amount of screenshots I'm sending you with Mika Mafia, by the way. You better turn your phone off. I'm no kidding.
As long as they're away for Lewis Palmer.
Every one of them's got him involved. Baza, do you remember?
I think it was Xavi. I think he did come up to me in training, to be honest, when I was breaking in, because he was the first one that really played me. And obviously...
From Barcelona, just so we're clear. Xavi from back.
And it was either him or Iniesta. It was one of the two of them. He was saying that I had the same style of play as them, and just to basically try and watch them and learn from them. So obviously, as a young boy coming through at that time, when he says that, it gives you a real confidence boost. And to be fair, he was brilliant for me after that, Gerard. Really, unfortunate for me and for Gerard that he got another health scare when he was at Aston Villa and had to leave again.
Good manager, Buzz.
Brilliant. Took to me really well, so I loved him, and he kind of played a few of the young boys at Villa at that time. He was trying to breed the young boys in and break them in to the first team at that time. But his knowledge of football and how well he knew the game was unbelievable. He was really good. But the only regret I have is that I never worked under him long enough, because I enjoyed the time that he was there and would have liked a bit longer.
Did you actually get to play against any of the two that you were linked to?
The both of them. Well, I was on the same park.
Aye. And
I never really got a chance, but I was on the same park.
How was that? Did that bring that memory back to you, or was it? What was that like? Surreal?
It was a headline in the Scottish newspaper at the time, because it was Scotland, Spain, and they brought that comment back up again before the game. So they were my favourite players and my favourite team to watch at that time anyway. So he was telling me to watch them, but I was already watching them because obviously Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, that team Larson was there. So I was watching them anyway. I used to watch them every weekend. And the way they played obviously was unbelievable. So to actually go on and see it firsthand was amazing. But they were probably the best two that I've played against, along with, I would say, David Silva as well. When I played Man City, he was unbelievable as well. The only one that I would say was close to him was Scholes for this. But he was towards the end. That's when he came back out of retirement. But you wouldn't be able to tell. He was unbelievable. But he was similar to them. He was like, you obviously have Gerrard and Lampard, but my favourite was Scholes because of the way he played the game, and he was similar to them too, really. And you see now that he's retired, I've seen something on Twitter or some in comments, all the top players, Zidane and that, what they're saying about Scholes. It's if they're speaking about him, that he must have been, for me, Scholes was the best English centre midfielder that I've seen. Could be toppled by Bellingham coming through, different players, but Bellingham looks the real deal now as well. But I think Scholes, for me, for the way that I played the game as well, I appreciated Scholes the most out of all the English players because he was similar to your Xavis and your Iniestas.
Nice wee compliment for you there, Baz.
I was wide that day playing against Jordi Alba.
That's right. Listen, don't put yourself down. There was loads of people. You were playing against Jordi Alba, and there was loads of people watching BBC Alba. So don't put your don't put yourself down, mate. Some big shouts here, Al, in terms of quality of player that Baz has shared the pitch with, mate. So that's how having him on here, mate, and his knowledge and his his thoughts and everything, mate. It's always a privilege.
Aye, no, he's top notch. Obviously, we don't want to butter him up too much. We're talking about how good his career was and how good a player he is. But aye, we love you, wee man.
There you go. He's got something. He's got something out for you, man. He's want to give you cuddles and everything.
Aye.
I
agree with you with the schools. The schools part.
Like me.
Yeah, by the way, I've got
screenshots
here about you talk about you're saying about A guys, and Zidane and that talking about Scholes and blah blah blah. I've got something there about Scholes, talk about Palmer. Unbelievable, by the way.
Aye. Scholes grew up with a poster of Palmer, didn't he? He's got a poster of Palmer in now. He's sitting in there.
He's there, man. He looks as if he's seen a ghost.
The ghost of Louis Palmer.
He's trapped. I think Louis Palmer walked in his living room.
Big Palmer's outside boot, man, stuck right to your chin there, by the way.
Ronaldinho wants to be Louis Palmer.
Aye.
I know. So, aye,
no, listen, I've seen a lot of great players as well, but to seeing these guys in the flesh, and Maestro, he's put a comment there, but just before we finish off, Maestro put a comment up. I mind seeing that night, the night Tomo scored for Celtic versus Barcelona. When we all got to see Ronaldinho, he's just people like I've tried to explain to people about Ronaldo. Like, you talk about the Ronaldo Messi argument. For me, with the ball, none of the two of them can get near him. Ronaldinho is like, even Messi would probably tell. By the way, I'm probably not even talking out of turn here. Messi would probably tell you that. I know Messi's superb on the ball, right? But Messi would probably tell you that he learnt for him.
From Louis Palmer.
Maybe listen, it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me because I think I saw for Anna Miami the other night Messi trying something that I've seen Palmer doing twice already now at Celtic. So who knows, mate?
In it with Ronaldinho, he was 2, 3 seasons, 4 seasons, but them seasons, he was arguably the best that you ever see, probably.
He was the first guy I'd ever seen to lob semen properly.
So look, he's in the tin pail now, isn't he, man?
Is he still in it?
I'm
sure. Was it started this year? I don't know if I've not ready to get out of it, Barry, but
he's probably still sitting there with that big grin he's got in his face all the time, man. And
no, he get caught trying to steal Louis Palmer's boots.
Aye.
No, he's definitely was in the jail.
Boots he used to do that trick when he hits the bar 5 times when it bounces back and comes, keeps coming back to him. Palmer gave him boots that day. But I agree with you, Andy. I really do. That's it. That's the overall objective here. You're going to be dreaming about Palmer tonight, Alan.
Aye, Paul McCartney writes songs about him, though.
Aye.
What else can we come up with?
And you'll make a song up from there. That's your task tonight.
What's that?
Big man loves a song, so you've got to make a song up for him tonight.
For Palmer?
Aye.
I'm going to do one. I'm definitely going to do one. I'm definitely going to do one. Definitely. But lads, what
Louis Palmer, Ballon d'Or. That one, aye.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's nobody many can ping a bobber outside his right peg, right to somebody's jaggy thistle. Quite right. Louis Palmer. Like Baz says, there's no man in the game even tries stuff like that in case they make a backside of themselves. Guys that have played the game a long time, like Modric, he scores goals like that. I think I've seen Jude Bellingham do it as well. I think I've seen one of the training videos for England. He actually scored a goal like that as well. You've got to have something about you. You really have. You've got to have. There's an element of confidence, but there's also an element of class. And to do something like that, you have got to really have a large set of cojones on you to even try and execute something like that. But a couple of early shouts for the song, lads. So might even upload something. Born Slippy, Palma, Palma, Palma. There we go. But aye, as I said, we'll come up with that maybe for the next episode. I'll try and do something for it. But lads, it's been a very good chat tonight. It really has. It was good to dissect all that with and bring that memory back. It was also good to bring that memory back, Bazzy, you playing for Scotland on that pitch, because I remember that game very well. Among other games that you played in for Scotland, and but Baz, honestly, mate, it's always a privilege having you on here, mate, having your thoughts and the way you see the game, because you certainly see the game a lot differently from the way we do. And it's always good to get your perspective on things, mate, because you see it from a current day player and, playing at a very good level. So it's always good to have you on, mate. It's always a privilege. I love having you on here. Obviously, you're a big Celtic fan, so we love having you on, chatting about the hoops as well. So it's good to see you again, mate.
No, I've enjoyed it. Thanks again, and good to see you. I'll see you Saturday for a few sherbets, hopefully.
A few sherbets. The big man's going to give you a cuddle when he sees you on Saturday. I'm bringing my Louis Palmer. I'm bringing my Louis Palmer face mask.
Give you a coke, Kerry.
He's going to need one when Ryan turns up with the booze that he's got, man, lined up for what we've got done.
Aye.
Then we'll be sitting apart first before we get anywhere near a pub. Just sitting on the Kelvin Grove like that, man, flinging bread at helicopters.
Doing tequila rose at your Leafs. If we go to shot glasses, that's all right, man.
After about 10 going like that, hold on a minute, was a predator here? What's that on this Leaf?
Aye.
But Alan, another great chat, mate. As I said, it's always a privilege having you on, big man. It's always a good laugh.
And yourself.
Again, guys, thank you very much, everybody that's commented in. Thank you for all your comments. Thanks for your questions to Baz as well. And the next time Baz is on, if anybody does want to ask Baz a question, please feel free to fire it in the comments, and I will do my best to Ryan's wee comment there before we go. He says, "Good chat, lads. Enjoy that. It's good to see you've enjoyed yourself tonight, Ryan. That's why we're here, mate. We love entertaining you, wee man. You get yourself geared up for Saturday. He needs more preparation time than me do. We're more seasoned pros at this game. No, he needs to do a warm up for a warm up nowadays. You know what I mean? Saying that, so they are. We're at -8 temperature out here. Yes. Before we finish up, lads, I'm just going to do a couple of wee announcements. For anybody, all the guys that have joined in that's new to the channel, this podcast is now proudly sponsored by AB Entertainment. AB it stands for a Mr. Alec Beveridge, and it's a DJ and entertainment business. And that is the contact number if you wish to get in contact with Alec. It's also the WhatsApp number as well that you can use to message him if you so do wish. If you've got any functions or anything of that nature coming up in your diary in the immediate future, please contact him on 07845 746 092. Also, guys, the Celtic Unrestricted View does have the last of our merchandise. And the merchandise is this. These are our mugs. They're in vinyl print, folks, okay? And these mugs are printed and they're priced at £5. We also have these, and they are priced at £1.50. So that's a double-sided keyring as well. As I said, folks, everybody that's joined in with us tonight, please hit the like and the subscribe button. You will get notified the next time this podcast goes live. The next time we're on, guys, is Wednesday evening. I know it's the international break, and we're not going to bore you too much with doing too much during the day this week. So we are going to be back on Wednesday. And then I think our Andy Gray will be back with us Thursday. Him and Big Alan will be on doing Loose Men, and Thursday, probably after Ninnish at some point, I would imagine. And then that'll be us for this week, I think, because we'll have done that. Not as loose as what you've been Saturday, by the way, I'll tell you that now, but we'll definitely be along the lines. But lads, honestly, it's been a total pleasure having a chat with you and a bit of crack with you. Baz, if I don't get a chance to speak to you before it, mate, I'll see you on Saturday. Alan, lads,
Hell.
See you later.
Hell.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Right.
Stay safe. Do wrap up well if you're outside. It's -8.